Hello everyone, my name is Angel and welcome to Adulting with Angel. Here on my channel, we try to figure out this whole adulting thing together so it's not as intimidating as doing it alone. The older I get, I feel like I have so many different friends experiencing so many different things, and we're no longer on the same life timeline as we were when we were in high school. And we grew up together, and now we're at, that fork in the road where we all start going down our different paths. And one of my best friends is pregnant and I'm getting married, and one of my friends is pursuing a master's degree. And how do we show up for people who are in different stages of their lives, and how do we continue to maintain close relationships and be good friends to everyone that is valuable to us? With that being said, I do truly believe that friendships can grow and thrive, and relationships can be strong no matter how far apart you live or how long you've known each other, as long as you're intentional about them. And being intentional is one of my goals for 2025. Being engaged and being present in all aspects of my life is something that I've noticed that I've been a little spacey on. And when you start focusing on your life and the things that you need to do, sometimes we forget to prioritize others and the changes that they're going to. So today I just wanted to kind of crack that can and discuss this topic with you guys and get your opinion and share my feedback and see if we have any ideas to help us be better friends. Sound good? The first thing that I want to talk about today is recognizing life's different stages. Just yesterday I graduated from college and I was 20, and now fast forward 5 years later, I'm getting married and starting my own family, which is crazy to think. Like 20-year-old me would think like, girl, what are you doing? Slow down. I just want to recognize that everyone is in a different stage of their life than you. Even you and your friend who are both wedding planning at the same time are going through two different experiences of the same thing. Everybody's different, and that's what makes life worth living. That's what makes having these relationships with our friends and family so valuable, is that everyone is experiencing different things simultaneously, and we're able to support each other throughout all those changes. Now that I'm creeping up on my quarter life crisis, turning 25 here in a couple weeks, I've noticed that I have so many friends who are thriving in their own areas of life. And I think it's so important to recognize that just because everyone is doing something different, there's no judgment. It doesn't mean one person's doing something better, and it doesn't mean that you should change your timeline to fit in with others. It just means that we're all just living this life at our own pace, which is so important. I feel like when I was younger, I felt like I had this clock ticking of all these things I needed to do by a certain age, and I finally just accepted it's gonna happen when it happens. I think the best way to be a good friend, a good sister, a good colleague is just to recognize that you have to allow people to have these differences without judgment. I'm so far from teen pregnancy at this point that when my best friend told me that she was pregnant, I was like in shock. I was like, Isabella, you're 12. What do you mean you're pregnant? Like, what are you doing about this? She was like, what do you mean, what am I doing about this? I'm welcoming a new baby in March. And I was like, of course you are, because we're like adults now. I had to recognize that just because I'm not ready to enter motherhood yet, it doesn't mean that I can't be excited and passionate for her to enter this journey into the unknown, really, of what life has to bring. The most important part about being a friend and being a loved one in people's lives is celebrating people for whatever stage in life that they are in, regardless of the stage that you're in. Celebrating your friends where they are and meeting people where they at. I think I said that backwards. Meeting people where they are and showing up for your friends where they're at is key to maintaining any relationship. I don't know how many of you have watched Sex and the City, but does anybody remember when Carrie went to a baby shower and the dog ate her shoes? Or something like that. Like her Manilos got damaged, and she was telling her friend that like, hey, like I have showed up for you for your baby shower after baby shower, your wedding, your bachelorette party. Like I've poured all this time and money into you, as a wife and a mother, but as a single woman, no one shows up for Carrie and no one recognizes her wins in her life because she's single. And that is something that I think about a lot, because I don't ever want to be the friend who isn't recognizing my single friends or my friends who choose not to be parents or choose to not get married or choose to not go to college. I never want to be the one who's not celebrating them and what they are doing just because they're doing things differently than how I'm doing them. So remember that. And if you haven't watched Sex and the City, immediately you have to watch it. It's like canon event, life-defining show that all women need to watch. That and Nana, but that's a conversation for another day. All you have to do is make sure that you're showing up for people in the way that they need you and all the stages in life that they have. And that could be career changes, that can be family changes, that could be new babies, that could be loss of life, the loss of friends, the loss of parents. Show up for people when they need you, even when they don't ask. You might be wondering, okay, Angel, that's all great, but how do I do it? How do I be a good friend? And I'll be the first to admit that it is so hard to find the balance of supporting people in stages of life that you have not been through. Because how do you know something you've never experienced? You can live vicariously through everybody else, but if I've never been pregnant, I have no advice. I only know what I've been told. The first piece of advice that I can give you is to practice empathy. Ask questions and do your best to understand. A lot of times when we're going through different life changes in our 20s, we're never seeming to go through them at the same time as our friends. And for me, when I got engaged, I remember feeling so isolated because none of my friends were engaged. I was like, okay, how do I plan a wedding? How do I plan a bachelorette party? What should I do? What should I not do? What should I avoid? I don't know. And none of my friends know because they've never been in that situation. But I remember appreciating that all my friends, they listened to me and they let me express my concerns and my challenges and my fears, and they validated them. And they gave me experiences from, when their friends got married or when their parents got married or what they remember. And it was very comforting for me. So sometimes when you haven't experienced something, it doesn't mean that you can't be empathetic for those experiences that others are going through, even with no experience. Another thing that I think is really important is asking questions like how, why, what, when, where. How is this new chapter treating you? How are things going? What do you need to feel supported? Do you need anything? Are you doing okay? Sometimes all it takes is one person to check in on somebody to make a world of difference. Hey, I know you guys just got engaged. Are you doing okay with wedding planning? Is there anything I can do to help? Hey, I know you guys are getting ready to have your first baby. What can I do to help? Is there anything that you need? Do you have any questions I can ask my mom or my sisters to assist you? Because as I've gotten older, I've realized that not everybody has those same relationships with their mom and dad, their family, their siblings. Some people are isolated. Some people don't have an older sister to go to. And that's why I made this channel, because I'm lucky to have this wealth of knowledge from everyone in my life supporting me. And I want to give that advice and knowledge to you guys and to my friends and family as well. From a different perspective, let's say you have gone to college and graduated and you're talking to a friend who's in their first semester of undergrad and they're struggling. The biggest thing that you don't want to do is compare yourselves to them. You want to give everybody the opportunity to live their lives and experience things for the first time through their own lens. And I know for me, when I talk to my younger cousins and my niece, I'm like, hey, what I would do. And sometimes I just have to tell myself, Angel, shut up. It's not about what you would do. It's her experience. It's their lives. It's not yours. And they're allowed to make mistakes that you wouldn't have made, but it might not be mistakes for them in the path that they're on. So you never want to compare. You never want to pass any judgment that makes it seem like, well, I've already done this and I know how to do everything. No. That's literally the exact opposite of what I'm telling you to do. So don't do that. And if you do that, don't say I told you to do that, because I'm not the one. The next piece of advice I have is being adaptable. Everyone has priorities in their life that might not align to the priorities that you have. Everyone has different jobs, different free time, different allocations of what they can give, because everyone needs to prioritize filling their cup first. So what do you do when you're, I don't really know how I want to present this, because I feel like I've been in a lot of situations where I have been pouring into my friends and they have been pouring into me, but their priorities are different than mine are. An example of this, I have a friend who's in law school, and I know law school is not easy. And I text her hey, how's law school going? Do you need anything? Are you okay? And I maybe texted her 4 or 5 times when she never responded to me. And it really hurt my feelings. And I reached out to another friend and she's like, like law school is a big priority. Like it is, I've never been to law school. She's never been to law school. So she told me, she said, Angel, just give her time to prioritize law school. And, she's not purposely ignoring you. She's not purposely trying to be a bad friend. She's just prioritizing on law school rather than friendships, which I understand. Because when I was in grad school and I was working full time, you could not get me on the phone. Honestly, you can't get me on the phone now, but I'm trying to do better. What I did last year, because I'm wedding planning and I'm making guest lists and I'm trying to really identify who those people in my life are who support me and have my back always, not just when there's an event coming up. And, I thought about her and I said, like I've always wanted her to be like a bridesmaid and be a part of my life and all these things. I texted her and I was like, hey, like I haven't heard from you in 6 months. Like I know you're going through a lot. Like, is our friendship still a priority to you? Like, what do you think? And I never heard back from her. And I just decided, okay, our relationship is not a priority to her. I tried to support her when I felt like she needed me, and it doesn't seem like she does. And at that point, that's when you have to take a step back and reevaluate relationships and see if they're worth it for you to maintain them or to leave them altogether. And something that I've been thinking about recently is I have had so many amazing friends in my life, but I have not had long-term friends, and I don't really have a lot of friends as an adult. And I've realized it's because friends and family are always my main priority. No matter what I'm going through, I will always put my friends and my family first. And I've noticed throughout my life that not everybody feels the same way. Not everybody values their friendships like I value mine. And I've cut off a lot of great friends and broken a lot of bridges and burned a lot of bridges with people who didn't show up for me the way I was showing up for them. And I was thinking about it yesterday and I was like, wow, like I wonder how my life would be if I was just a little bit more patient and forgiving for people in different stages of my life. Now, I'm not saying I have any regrets. I'm not saying I would have done anything differently in my past, but it gives me a new perspective looking towards my future. The last thing I want to mention about ways to be a good friend is to offer support without being asked. I think a lot of us, especially me, I'm super like type A. I can handle everything. I don't need anybody. And it's not from a place of I don't need anybody because I'm better than you, but it's almost like I don't want to bother you with my struggles when I know you're going through your own thing, so I can handle it on my own. And I even do this with my fiance. He's like, girl, we're like getting married. We're like one unit. You gotta lean on me for help. And I'm like, bro, I don't have to. I should. I don't have to. And I think for me, whenever my friends offer help or recognize I'm struggling without me having to come out and say, hey, my life is falling apart, can you help or can we talk? Makes things so much better. It is so refreshing when you're going through a shitty time and your friend texts you, hey, let's get drinks, I haven't heard from you in a while, or hey, like I know you were applying for new jobs, let's get together and talk about it. For example, my friend Isabella, who's having the baby, I told her, I was like, when you give birth, once your partner has to go back to work, call me and I'll take time off from work. I will fly to North Carolina and I will take care of you and the baby. And I will clean and I will cook and I will do whatever you need to make sure that you don't fall to postpartum depression, that you are okay mentally and physically, and that you are not overwhelmed. Because I've never been pregnant, but I know that from my psychology degree, postpartum depression is no joke. It's no joke. And, with her living so far away and maybe not having the village that she deserves, it's up to me to be that village, even from far away. So I told her, I said, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you that when you need me, I'm there. You are one of my best friends. I'm going to support you regardless of if you want to be supported, because you need to have someone to lean on at all times. I never want my friends to feel isolated. I never want them to feel alone. I never want them to feel like they're going through things by themselves. Depression is real. Seasonal depression is real. We are in the heart of winter. Don't let your friends down. Be intentional with your friends. Be intentional with your relationships. And show up for people how you want them to show up for you, or even better. Because it never hurts to do better. As I mentioned before, not every friendship is going to survive through all the different stages in life. Not everybody wants to see you win, and I tell you guys this all the time, but when you're in different stages of your lives, friendships typically thrive because you are relating to each other in some way. But sometimes we take such different paths in life that we no longer have anything to relate to, and those friendships start to fall apart. But they don't have to. One of my friends, Alyssa, she is like a major party girl, EDM raver. And if y'all know anything about me, I'm not a club girl, I'm not a party girl. And, you know, I still check in with her like once a month, every couple weeks. And I'm like, hey, how's life? How are things? What do you need from me? Is there anything I can do to make your life easier? Are you okay? And I just check in with her to let her know, like, hey, I'm thinking of you. Do you need anything? I'll text her, like, hey, these are all the life changes that I'm going through. What are you going through? And if there's anything major or out of left field that my friends tell me, I'm like, okay, we need to set up a call immediately. Because what the fuck is that? Any way that you can be a good friend, you should. But even with all that effort, there are going to be friendships that drift apart. But even more so than that, you might be entering into rooms and into experiences in your life that other people are jealous that they haven't got to experience yet. And they might try to start sabotaging you. They might start trying to get in your head and, you know, add self-doubt to you and try to make you feel badly because of your success. And those are people we do not need in our lives ever, but especially moving forward. Breaking up friendships can be hard, especially with people who you've known in your life for such long periods of time. It hurts. It hurts both parties, but you have to be selfish and you have to put yourself first and prioritize the relationships and the people in your life that show up for you. I know this is going to be hard to hear, but sometimes nobody in your life is showing up for you the way that you need. Adulting is hard. I never created this channel with the intention that adulting was easy, because then what would there be a purpose for me to talk about? There would be none. But I just want to give you guys the perspective to understand that life is hard and you need to have good people around you. And I encourage you, as we move into the new year and as you go through different life changes and stages, that you check in and see who is really showing up for you and who is there for you. Because you might come to notice that there are some friendships that you need to let go of. Especially one-sided friendships. I typically end up having a lot of one-sided friendships because I love to pour into people and people don't really want to pour back into others. And that's something that we've talked about a lot. I've seen a lot of discourse online about Gen Z and millennials and how like we don't have villages and how we cut off our family and our friends without a second thought. And the truth sucks, but at the end of the day, people are not prioritizing their relationships as they used to. And you have to decide the effort that you want from the people in your life. And if they're not giving it to you, how to step away in a healthy way that works for you. So yeah, there you have it. Some big sister advice for you today on how to prioritize your relationships and to support everyone that you love as we move into the new year. Lots of life changes coming your way, some that you may know of, some that might be spontaneous. So make sure that you are there and showing up for the people who you love, and make sure that they are showing up for you. But that is my big sister advice for today. If you guys have any situations that you're going through and you need some advice with navigating, please let me know. Because I love to, one, be nosy, but two, love to help. And that psychology degree that I have is just collecting dust, so I love to brush it off and help you guys every now and then. As life continues to pull all of us in different directions, our relationships can thrive with a little bit of effort and love to those around us. I encourage all of you to reach out to one of your loved ones this month. That can be someone who you haven't talked to recently, or someone that you used to talk with all the time and they've kind of fallen off from that, communication that you guys used to have. See how everybody's doing. You can literally just type up one text and send it to all your friends and just say, hey, I'm thinking of you. How are things going? I know with me, when I get super busy with work in the summer, I usually send all my friends the same text where it's like, hey, like just checking in on you. Like, I know life has been crazy. How are you doing? Do you need anything? I'm here for you. And it just lets people know that you care. And honestly, with the life changes we keep experiencing and the way that things are going, kindness and compassion go a very long way. With that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. I will see you again next Sunday with a new video. And please remember to continue to adult kindly and responsibly. Bye, guys. We're only getting older, baby, and I've been thinking about it lately. Does it ever drive you crazy just how fast the night changes?